As promised, the shed a bit more tidy than last time. Still in the process of being made tidy though. You'll probably recognise a lot of the bits are the same, but a lot of the rubbish is now gone. This is only a very quick little video, more or less showing the extra bits that I've done. The master clock's now gone. That's gone over to a friend's. He always liked it, and I let him have it. We exchanged it. I got a little grandmother clock in exchange. You see the lamps are virtually the same. Few alterations here. I took the electrics down. The thing is, this house, when it gets wet, very wet, well, I'm assuming it's from this one, the electrics fail. I've got it on one of these residual current devices, RCD. The people insisted that I had it done. I said, well, it's quite safe. I know what I've done, but they didn't like it, so I had to have that done. A great expense to me, but not to worry. Probably safer. As I say, the AC inverter's still there. That's fully working now. And just turn it on. I'll show you what happens. You turn it on and you have to wait about a minute, and then suddenly there we are. There's juice there now. Now that gives out 220, 230 volts, 50 cycles, and it's a sine wave. Most of these things you buy are actually a square wave, but this is a sine wave, and I'm pretty sure this whole unit came out of an ambulance. I don't know, but I think it did. I bought it, as I said in my last video, it was from a boot sale in Epsom, so I was well pleased. Excuse the various tools. I've been installing a solar panel. I picked one up off of eBay. It's outside. It's a bit difficult to take a picture of it, but I will do one of these days. This is the control box. You have to have these if you're charging batteries up. These are an essential item because they control the actual current going into the batteries. Now, looking down there, I've got 3 batteries there. They're the I don't know what they're called. They're like a cyclone type. I've had these quite a while. Don't ask me where they came from. I'll tell you, a boot sale. Where else? Wimbledon boot sale, which unfortunately is no longer with us. They've turned it into a, dare I say, football ground. Absolute waste of a lovely area and a lovely boot sale. Anyhow, it's gone. Whether they can find another place, I hope so. They're the batteries. They're paralleled in. So there's 3 batteries going together with suitable fusing between them. It's always best to be on the safe side. And that powers that inverter, which is still on. I'm going to turn it off. Hold on. That thing at the bottom's actually a travelling fridge. It's quite an old one. When I had the camper, it was ideal, but at the moment it's surplus to requirement. And just on top of that is a nice 20 amp charger for batteries, so which is also a boot cell job. Now, Tony, I've in fact got 2 solar panels. The one we're looking at now is quite a small one. It just sits on the top of this shed. It's one I picked up just a few weeks ago at my local boot sale, which is virtually across the road from here. the person obviously didn't know what it was. He actually got it out of his stuff later on in the boot sale. I was doing a boot sale selling plants, and he got this out. I thought, blimey, that looks like a solar panel. So I wandered across, and I saw. I looked at it. It looked fine. There's no cracks, no damage. There was a regulator on it. I said, "Oh, how much is that?" He said, oh, I want a tenner. I said, "Okay, I won't even knock you down. Here's a tenner." And I got it, brought it home. I thought, well, something might not work. The actual regulator, which is this type of item there, which I've shown before, was not working. It had obviously been blown. Someone had probably wired it up wrong, reversed the actual polarity. It was a sealed unit, so you couldn't get into it. But the panel itself worked, and that was up to spec. So I was well pleased, and that's what I'm set is put on this one. It just powers a couple of UASA batteries at the back there, behind the old radio. And that keeps that powered up at 12 volts. They're doubled up as well. There's 2 sets of 12. Also puts the emergency light on in case we need it. That's an old, I think it's a Labcraft made job. It came out of one of the campers. And over here we've got an inverter from America. It was bought here. I bought it in the boot sale. It's 400 watt, 800 watt peak, and it's got the American plug, 110 volts. We'll turn it on, and we're powering 110 volt lamp. That bulb also came from a good old boot sale. I think it was the same time as the other solar panel. Not the same person, but definitely was it. So if any time we have a power cut, which is fairly rare here, no problem. That buzzing is the inverter. Now that inverter is what you normally find, and that would be a square wave. Alright, it doesn't really matter, but on certain equipment, probably computers and stuff like that, you'd be better off with a sine wave. But if it's just lighting a bulb or heating or something like that, then it'll do fine. It just is a square wave, and the voltage would read different if you went to a normal voltmeter which was calibrated for sine wave. Anyway, I'm not going to get too technical. I'll turn that off. Right, that's just about it in here. As I say, the old shed is showing its age. I'm dreading having to replace it or repair it, but at the moment it's not too bad. The floor is still still there, although this corner behind the level, I think it's getting a bit dodgy, but not to worry. Anyhow, I think that's it for this. As I say, I'm still working on tidying it up in here, so that is my excuse. I've obviously got to tidy the wiring up. Those flying leads there will go to a little chocolate block, and that is the 12 volts out, which well, as I say, it can feed anything, but the main reason is these batteries are for that inverter, but this is just an additional 12 volts. No, I'll show you this, the little regulator. They're both the same. I think it will show up okay. I'm not getting too technical, but you can see the various lights and that. The left hand green is showing that there's juice going into the batteries. The state of charge of the batteries is shown by the 3 red lights. The one on the right is dim, so the battery is slightly down. The load, that is always on green. But as I said, those things are essential, you've got to have. Anyhow, that's it for this lot. Thanks for watching. Any comments, please make them. I'm looking and seeing if I've missed anything. There was a little magnifier set up, which also came from the same boot cell. I haven't used it yet, but it will do. In there is a little digital clock, which I've got to make up. I've made one of these up already, and it works beautifully. But this is one that I'm waiting to bide my time. The thing is, also waiting to have a cataract operation. Why have we got to get old? You know, I thought, I'll go through life and things will be more or less the same, but unfortunately they're not. So because of that, my eyes are not that good. So it looks like I might have to have that done first. Anyhow, I'm jabbering on, so I've probably sent you all to sleep. Anyhow, thanks again for watching. Oh, by the way, I'll add this because I'm not very good with computers. In fact, I don't really understand them. I've got a Flickr account which I've put up various things, phones, plants, you name it, goes up there. The URL, I think it's called a URL, someone asked for, and I've included that on the offerings I've given on the garden plants. I think it's about either the first or second one of the new lot, so it is on there. I found out how to do that. To my mind, very complicated. Anything with computers is complicated. And what's made it even more complicated, my computer, you can either get Mac or Windows, and it all depends how you set it up. So it's trial and error. One of these days it's going to completely blow up, but anyhow, not to worry. Thanks again for watching. I'm going to go in for a nice cup of tea. So once again, many thanks.